As is the case with many subjects, when you're trying to answer questions, actually more questions come up. So, circling back to the business of the katvanga and the trident, we've looked a little bit at Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava texts and Guru Yoga literature generally describe him as having a trident leaning against his left shoulder. Now, the issue with this is the appearance. In the Sarma traditions, namely the Chakrasamvara Tantras, they teach and describe a katvanga. The katvanga has, the length of the katvanga is the length of the deity, so the length of Chakrasamvara or the length of Vajrayogini. It has 8 sides, meaning the shaft of the staff has 8 sides. At the very bottom is half a vajra. The katvanga also tapers. It tapers from the top down to the bottom with the half vajra. Sometimes placed on the ground, sometimes held in the air. Now, the very top of the katvanga has a vajra, a full 5-pronged vajra, both ends of the vajra. Below that are 3 heads, usually a skeleton, then an emaciated, and then a proper head, a living head. Below that is a vase, and below that is what typically looks like a half Vishva Vajra, a half 20-pronged Vajra. So it basically means a 20-pronged Vajra cut in half. And then sometimes there's a scarf tied below that. Okay, that's a katvanga. A trident in the Sarma traditions is simply a trident, a 3-pointed staff of some kind, such as Shiva would have. But when it comes to the Nyingma tradition, and when it comes to Padmasambhava, and when it comes to the 8 Heruka deities, and when it comes to Lama Gongdu and the Guyagarbha deities, a trident means something different. The trident means essentially the katvanga staff, but without the vajra at the top. The vajra at the top is replaced typically with a trident. Now, this doesn't always apply. There are many examples in art, both painting and sculpture, where Padmasambhava is actually holding a katvanga and not a trident. Also, we have many early paintings of Padmasambhava where at the top of the staff, in the shape of a katvanga, is what looks like a half vajra. And this half vajra, over time, over hundreds of years, becomes larger and larger until it represents clearly a trident with a wisp of flame above the central point of the trident. So what this sort of indicates is that early on there was a conflation of maybe not knowing or not describing clearly what Padmasambhava was holding, and so possibly the half vajra rather than a full vajra at the top became a trident and became larger. That's possible. Or the artists who were making these sculpture or painting depictions weren't clear as to how to depict the trident, or how to depict a vajra, or how to depict a 3-pointed vajra. Even in India, we had confusions and conflations with tridents and 3-pointed or 3-pronged vajras. We see that more with the deity Avalokiteshvara, Simhanada, where he holds or has a trident placed upright on the ground or on the lotus seat to his right side. So anyway, this is just a little bit more discussion about the trident and the katvanga and some confusions and some conflations that may have happened over time, as well as possibly some artist confusion over how to depict these objects. So you can press the like button, you can subscribe, you can join HAR on Patreon, and very importantly, you can go to the Himalayan Art Resources homepage and make a donation.